I talk about me having reflective sympathetic dystrophy, and honestly, like October, November, and December are my hardest months when it's rainy and wet. When it switches to cold and snow, I do a lot better. So I just never know how I'm going to be feeling day in, day out, if I end up wanting to spend the whole day in the bathtub or on the heat pad. So I really try to plan ahead as much as I can, and I know that other people are going to understand that. So when I have those quiet times and I'm feeling good and I can bust out something to make the holidays easier, I totally do it. So things like planning out a gather list is something that I do ahead of time. So I can start getting out those serving dishes that I'm going to need. We always use china, I know. It takes extra effort to wash it, but we have special china plates that we use. So I always make sure that those are washed and ready to go a couple days ahead of time. And they're just kind of out of the way. Other things that I can do ahead of time and just have them prepped and ready to go. So the day before Thanksgiving, I spend most of the day resting, and it's really important to be able to do that for me. So a couple days beforehand, I will do things like I will cook the sausage up that I'm going to need for the stuffing, and I will grill the onions that I'm going to be using. And depending on how many days ahead of time I do this, I'll either put them in the fridge or the freezer. So kind of go through the list of the items that you are making for the holidays and see what you can do a week ahead of time, 3 days ahead of time, pulling out your turkey when it needs to be pulled out, which we'll have a little graph for that, so you make sure you pull it out in time. But try to do all of those things ahead of time that you can, so the day of Thanksgiving, it's not so stressful for you. And another thing I've really worked on over the years, especially since we have a tiny house, it feels like, I know it's not tiny, it's like 1,100 square feet, but it feels tiny when there's 20 people here, let me tell you. And anyways, I make sure that we don't have any extra space in our house but when the table is up in our living room. So there is like a strict timeline of when people have to arrive here, because there's no other room for them to go besides sitting at the table. So I plan my day backwards. I plan my day from what time I want the people sitting at the table and what time I want them to arrive. And then I start thinking about, what time do I want that turkey out of the oven? Because it's going to sit and rest for about a half an hour, and that's when I get to put all the sides to reheat them into the oven. And then I do the timeline backwards all day long. And then I figure out when I need to put the turkey in the oven, and I always give myself about a half an hour to make sure that I have it all prepared and ready to go in the morning. So I'm watching the Macy's Day Parade and getting the turkey ready for the oven, and I try to get that in the oven ready to go, and then I can relax for a little while before things start needing to happen and company coming. So I plan backwards on that timeline. So there's two timelines that we're kind of talking about. There's a timeline like leading up the week to Thanksgiving or the holiday or event or whatever you're planning, and then the actual day of the events. But kind of think about what time you want people to arrive, what time you want people to be sitting at the table, and then plan backwards, giving yourself about a half an hour's worth of grace in there somewhere. And I do this for all of the holidays. I used to host Easter when my girls were babies, like 20 years ago, and we found in a note binder that I had a list from the Easter event, and I have done this for 20 years, like planning out the list, planning out the gather list, planning out the to-do things that I can do ahead of time that just make the holidays easier for me. And I think a lot of these things that I've learned how to do over the years because of my health and having our family have littles and not littles, and just the variance of our family size at different years, and what I was able to do with a house full of people here or not. It just made me realize that I have some skills that you guys all can benefit from. So I'm glad that you're following along. And if you have questions, I'm actually going to be on Instagram all Thanksgiving weekend. So feel free to ask me all of the questions and I will make sure to answer them. And we just want you to have a smooth transition into the holidays, that you actually get to enjoy it with your families without it causing you a lot of extra stress. So planning ahead really does help reduce the stress and let you enjoy the holidays with your family.